three or four reasons why gold has gone from 1,300 to where it is now. The first was central banks buying in relations to BRICS and a change in the world. And then a second, alternative to U.S. debt. And now alternative to other debt. There's not a lot of people that want to put a lot of money in Japan right now. So gold is returning to what a lot of people like to make fun of, that got involved with crypto, was a relic, it's useless and all, but what it worked for a couple thousand years is doing it again. I feel much, much safer with a gold than somebody telling me because something sits on a computer somewhere I'm a rich man.
In today's news recap, gold's pause bodes well for the next leg higher, says UBS. Despite a recent consolidation in gold prices since hitting an all-time high of $3,500 in late April, UBS analysts maintain that gold's pause bodes well for the next leg higher, as bullish gold sentiment is unchanged. Market participants have been reacting to volatile developments on U.S. tariffs, economic data prints, and the corresponding implications for Fed policy, said the bank in a note to clients. UBS notes that high levels of uncertainty around U.S. tariffs, fiscal policy, and the Fed's consequent response reinforce the appeal to diversify portfolios, wherein gold stands out as an attractive option. The analysts suggest that liquidity conditions could amplify price action for gold, meaning it likely does not take a lot of volume to move the price in the current environment. They point out that continued buying from the official sector, inflows into ETFs, and relatively robust physical investment interests suggest metal being made unavailable to the market, which supports a potential move higher. UBS also addressed whether investors are shifting from gold to white precious metals like platinum and palladium. According to the bank, platinum has extended its rally, outperforming gold and silver, and the platinum market is increasingly showing signs of stress. While gold's ratio to silver and platinum moving in favor of the white metals recently, and futures open interest shows a decline in gold and an increase in silver and platinum, UBS states that it is hard to know for sure whether market participants are doing ratio trades. It is also hard to rule out given the price action. Now we'll show you the best clips of the latest interview. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you do not miss out our daily recaps. And check goldsilverstacks.com to get your Stacker's Handbook, the ultimate guide to stack gold and silver, packed with strategies to trade the gold-silver ratio and get more ounces and build wealth over time, so you don't have to rely on market commentators to make your investment decisions. Enjoy the episode.
Owning silver was like kissing your sister because I'd always choose gold first over silver. I had turned quite positive on it. In fact, when it briefly went under 30 a couple months ago, that's when I'd said, it's time. The ratio has gotten too out of whack, and we're not surprised to see silver break this. Whether it was purposely manipulated, just people were selling it at a certain number, whatever it was, that it looked like it was going to go through this time, and that would elevate silver to probably lead gold for a while. And as you said, we've just done that. Today was a very healthy little consolidation after breaking that type of level. And I think that both metals are going higher. I do think, as I've said to you now for a few weeks, the longer gold can trade, maybe 3,000 as the low, and I don't even think that's coming now. I think that's kind of off the table. But use 3,000 to 3,500. The longer we would trade in that range, the higher we would end up going afterwards, because it would be a stronger foundation to build from. So I'm very, very bullish on the metals. Of course, as you know, several months ago, I kind of took physical bullion out as my first choice and started to go into mining shares, and then I went in the ultimate gamble, which is junior resource stocks. But all in all, physical metals, the mining shares, the junior resource market, all have their foot on the gas pedal, and it's forward as far as my eye can see at this moment. if we looked back, we would see certain periods that say almost 90% of the time, if gold was down that day, silver was. If gold was up that day, silver was. Now we've seen some days where one could actually be off and the other one up. We saw that a few days ago regarding the silver market. I think it's healthy that they both can take turns versus one dominating. There just tends to be, and you probably may see it in your end on the physical side, but there just tends to be silver to be more of an individual retail person because they can have more quantity of it, where gold has been heavily purchased by central banks. I don't think, nothing that I've seen that we could talk about doesn't mean it's not happening, but I don't think central banks are hoarding silver in the same way that they've done these gold last few years. So I would commend silver in this regard, that if it is outperforming gold without that luxury of a huge, person that has tremendous deep pockets, it really attests the silver's recent strength is real and something to respect.
In today's news recap, silver slips as price retreats from overbought territory on easing U.S.-China trade talks. Silver prices are easing on Wednesday, retreating from multi-year highs as bullish momentum fades and traders lock in profits. The metal is currently hovering near the $36 psychological support zone, having tested its highest levels since February 2012 earlier this week. On Tuesday, high-level negotiations between the U.S. and China concluded in London with a provisional framework agreement reigniting hopes of a reset in bilateral trade cooperation. U.S. President Donald Trump commented on trade talks on Wednesday, stating that we've made real progress with China. It's about fairness, and we're close to something that could work for both countries. I won't sign anything weak. Chinese Vice Premier He Lifeng added that China's stance on trade issues with the U.S. is clear and consistent. Both sides should strive to establish stable and long-term trade and economic ties. The optimism initially supported industrial demand sentiment, helping lift silver. However, with prices already overbought, extended gains remained limited. Now we'll show you the best clips of the latest interview, but first, smash the subscribe button, turn on notifications, and check our new Numismatics Handbook. Most stackers want to get active, but swapping their metals for dollars isn't an option. There's plenty of opportunities in the overlooked numismatics world. Mastering U.S. coins, key dates, and errors pays off by multiplying your ounces and capitalizing where others aren't paying attention.
Sure, going back to my days as a money manager, it was unheard of for gold to be priced above platinum. Platinum would always carry a premium and all. And, but it kind of, I guess because the main usage of it was always the catalytic converter and the electrification. And I don't know what took that away, and I don't know how much steel is used versus how it used to be in cars. I think the other concern, and one of the things I think why platinum is started to rise again, is the very fact that it's so low a price versus gold, but also one of the countries where you're most dependent on new platinum supply is really being torn apart, and that's South Africa. And then the other country, of course, is Russia. So there's a concern about future production ability because of where we just know that they're at. But I don't think the public is anywhere close to it interested in it as it was percentage-wise versus gold and silver 30 years ago. I think the public is front and center on gold and silver, and, and platinum sitting in the back seat. Nothing wrong with sitting in the back seat, but it's not the main thoughts of people when it comes to metals. Could that change? I don't think so. I just think right now, as you noted, as your guest had said, platinum's making up for lost time. Yeah, I think that comes to do regarding the trade war and how India has reacted to the United States and willing to work in the United States. I think India is being opportunist in the sense that they see themselves as somebody that could replace China for some of the things that China had offered on the World Trade Center. And the whole theory and reason behind BRICS is to move away from the dollar and the U.S. So if you're about openly saying, well, I want to embrace the United States more than I have been, then I can understand that transpiring. I don't think it's a blow to the BRICS, and I don't know how long that would last, because I think one of the things that is occurring, I fully expect Trump at when this is all said and done, I won, this is what I wanted, but the world did not beat a path to his door as he was touting from the day he was elected to the so-called Liberation Day. And I think the world has slow walked themselves dealing with him on the trade front. And while there will be an announced China agreement, China will be much more beneficial to that agreement than everybody was trying to say from the Trump administration back in April. And therefore, I think the reasons on how the BRIC impacted the metals market, particularly gold, will continue. In fact, we know now there's a couple big meetings coming up regarding the BRICS, and there's already scuttlebutt of how they're working gold and the uses of gold into how they plan on trading with one another. And I think unlike 2 years ago when everybody, for whatever reasons, was saying, oh, they're going to announce a new gold converted coin and all that kind of stuff, I don't think that was ever on the table. But I do think by the end of this meeting that are coming up, we're going to have a fairly good idea what their plan is.
What do you think of Grandich's take? Do you agree with him? Is this the biggest bull market in precious metals ever, or are we approaching a major top? Post in the comments section down below your honest opinion and share with the stackers your price prediction for gold and silver by the end of the year. Now check this video right here because it's a perfect fit for you, and I'll see you on the other side.